Hello and welcome back. Today I have two generators from Japan. I think they were very popular in that time. They were produced around 75, and I have seen this on my dad's bench also. There is an audio generator. It goes from 20 hertz up to 200k, and you have here the signal generator, which is actually an RF generator. That one goes from a few kilohertz up to 100 megahertz, and it can go up to 300 megahertz using the harmonics. So these I found they were in good condition. They can use some cleaning, but I thought let's have a better look. Of course, we open them and play a bit on the scope to see what happens. Well, here we have them, quite good condition. Switching the frequency is just in, this is a switch that has four settings. So you go from 20 to 200, then from 200 to 2000, etc. And then you go up. You can change the level, and here you can change the level fine, and it can do sine wave and it can do squares. And it's quite straightforward, and I wonder what is inside. And here you have the signal generator. It has 6 settings, A, B, C, D, E, F. And then you just go through your scale. And as you can see here, you have the way up to a 100. And then there is an extra scale, but that is the harmonics. And so you should be able to do up to 300. So if we start with the audio generator, well, we just switch it on, and well, it works with the 2 bananas, so we just put that, and I will use my Marconi as audio amplifier just to have some sound. AF input. See if we hear something. And we do. You can set the level. And you can do the same with higher frequencies until it gets very noisy. Up to 1,000. Wow, screaming. So that's the audio generator. And how does that look on the oscilloscope? You can see the oscilloscope. Yes, you can. And that looks actually quite clean. That is a very nice clean signal. And it can also do squares. And that looks quite good. A little bit of overshoot, but it's really marginal. It's super, super clean. Let's see on a higher frequency. Let's go almost to the maximum. Yes, then it starts to go a little bit. But it's still good enough for a square. Maybe if we terminate, I think you need to terminate this with 600 instead of 50, but I can try with 50 just to see what happens. But then it will just reduce a lot. Yeah, it's too much. Really made for 600, old standard. More for audio, of course, but it's still It's now on 140 kilohertz, and yeah, more or less a square. And the sine wave is still beautiful. That is really clean. So this is really nice if you are working on audio. It is really nice, and it's sort of good. Well, it's not calibrated. It says here 150, and here it says 140. But maybe we can change that a little bit. Is it here also? 14, 1.4, and 140. Okay, so it's really all over the ranges. So that is just changing the pointer a little bit. Okay, let's open it up. So that looks a bit like an empty box. Ah, yeah, there are several options to adjust. I see here a pot, I see here a cap, but maybe the adjustment needs to be done here. They separated the power supply, well, partly because here is the. So we need to see maybe the oscillator probably running here, so we can maybe adjust this here. It looks still very good inside. Do we see a date? No. I think I like to adjust that so that it is good. So I put 600 ohms. Well, it's 680, but it's better than nothing. Now let's think. Get closer to the impedance. No. Don't break that little thing. Okay. Okay, I have it set to 150. Now let's put here. And it says 143. Okay, here it says the small trimmers 102 and 103. Okay, I just noticed you have no clue what I'm doing. I'm looking at the scope and I'm actually setting the frequency. So, and the duty needs to be to 50%. So I'm gonna try to do that. Okay. 1.5, 1.5, 150. Perfect. That is good. 150. Go to the square. the square does look better. What does this do? Let's have a little. Don't see what this does. No, I think it's good. Duty is still 50%. What if we go to 50? Almost 50, almost 50, 50, 50. And the duty. Okay. It changes on the frequency. So if we have it here, good. And we go to 150. Oh, kijk. Yes, perfect. Give me a little bit here. Okay, on the duty you need to set in the middle. 50. So let's set it at 100. Okay, well, now we're kind of in the middle. So let's also try the signal generator. I'm here in the A scale, putting out 200, and the oscilloscope also says it's 200 kilohertz. And if we go to the B scale, that should be almost 600. And indeed it is 600 to the C scale. Then it is 2 megahertz. It's indeed 2 megahertz. D, go to 6. It is indeed 6 megahertz. The signal is not super clean. I will zoom in later. E. Then we go to 6, 20, and then to the higher scale. And that is around 30, 50, 60. And indeed it is around 60. So adjusting is not needed. But let me zoom in on the oscilloscope. You can see that the signal is not necessarily super clean. But I think that's on purpose because that is probably the harmonic that is on top that they kept on it. Because then you can also do the triple value of the last scale. So we are now generating 60 megahertz and we can go all the way up to 100. And as you can see, it's actually doing that. But if we zoom in, you can see it's kind of noisy. And it does have a modulation that I can switch off. This is with modulation. This is. So you see, it's kind of noisy. Oh. But it is clean enough, because if we put it on the Marconi, it says it's 100 megahertz. And if we put modulation, it's a bit loud. And it's like 4 microwatts. So you can actually put this in your receiver. And we can scale down, down, down. And down, 200. Oh, that the Marconi is even doing this. 144 kilohertz. Can go lower. So the Marconi still works on 100 kilohertz. Also nice to know. Now this one on the inside almost looks the same. It's a little bit fuller. The power supply is a bit more simple, because this also has the 1 kilohertz modulation, so it's a little oscillator running there, not adjustable like the other, and you cannot select a square, so it's more simple. And here we have the oscillator with a big capacitor here. When you change the frequency, you just change the capacitor right here. And you select your ranges with this big switch here. And they all have a different value with the coil, as you can see, to change the frequency. And it just switches. So you just change the coils to have a different frequency here. Okay, pretty straightforward, but it works. Okay, look at this, all clean, all tested, very nice. And as I said, you find this in almost any workshop, and probably they are still there. If we look at the details, these are really like new right now. Moving a little bit to the other side. And like this, it's a nice pad. You can do the audio and the RF. So that's it. Nice and shiny. Again, happy with the result. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time.